ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages who shouldn't be listening because your parents shouldn't allow you to do that unless they're really cool and hip. Maybe they are. Welcome
Very
back.
progressive.
Exactly. To the Long and Thick podcast. We've said it recently. We are really, truly at the epitome of a year and the end of 2025, time of conception is 12/31, last day of the year. Daniel
Hashtag
and I
25 wrapped.
That's right. The fucking Spotify flavored. Are wanting to take this episode and go through the year and just walk through some of our favorite moments. And in doing so, we hope that maybe if you haven't done this already, because the time that you listen to this is within the new year, that maybe it's a good means for you to look back and reflect. So without further ado, Daniel,
Sure.
first and foremost, how the fuck are you on this fine Wednesday?
I am right. I'm doing well on New Year's Eve, no less. So this will be our first episode as it airs on 2026 time. So that's exciting.
Yeah.
That means between starting production and getting to this point, we hit all of our marks. We release when we want to release, and we've had an episode every single week up to this point. So I think that's a pretty resounding success. So good on you, good on us. I'm very, very proud of that, and I'm excited to keep building on it. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, I think first and foremost being that we're in the podcast itself, that's a pretty monumental feat. And what was the metric that somehow most don't make it past 20 episodes? Like an astronomical amount cannot make it past that. And we're, I think, closing on 40 now.
Yep.
So
Yep. Easily.
Exciting stuff. So yeah, fucking good job, dude.
Yeah, to you as well, my brethren.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I'm great. I am happy to get beyond the purgatory of the end of the year. There's this last week of any year is just strange between Christmas to New Year's. It doesn't even feel real. It just feels like some quantum anomaly, or it's like I am a human. I think.
Yeah. I think so. Maybe.
What about you? How you feeling?
All is well, man. I definitely feel the oddity of time and its questionable, understanding and our grasp of it. The thing that fucks me up the most, I think, is like the work schedule change. Like today we did a half day at the office, which is lovely. And then, there's just the older I get, the more impacted I feel by the darkness that wraps its fucking hands around my throat at 3:00. And I'm like, wait, should I go to bed? Should I have dinner? Like where am I? So I'm ready for, not that that's going away anytime soon, but there's something fun. And as much as I think you and I like semi-bash the New Year's shit, we're also both big proponents of just like any type of thing that helps you skyrocket and make change. And, this is a really profound time to reflect and get a little bit more meditative on some of the things that you really want to make your life about. And that is a serious matter. As much fun as we do have, the heart and soul is really creating lasting changes that are fucking awesome for your life across the full spectrum. I feel like we've covered more and more outside of pure health and lifting and cardio, and more like, do you have friends? Do you have fucking hobbies? Like those are parts of your health. And so I'm just sort of rambling and thinking about, the heart and soul of what we've gone after here in the last year, and feeling definitely very appreciative. And also just like empowered by the sense of renewal that comes with a social norm of starting over, right? Like, and so it's sort of beautiful.
Yeah. Well, let's reflect on 2025 a bit. Take us back to January. What was a defining moment that if you can recall, that really stuck out to you for that month of 2025?
Yeah, and I'll add a little snippet for those who are listening and want to maybe do this themselves. This was a very helpful thing for me to use. I went to like my Google Photos just to look through timestamp stuff to get a better idea of like what things was I capturing, and what monumental things was I taking pictures of, if any. And so maybe use that if you end up doing this same sort of exercise. What I had put down was, I felt like I was at that point really in a really fun and solid groove with a lot of my cardio focused stuff. And then also just like you and I were really in a bash it out zone of, I mean, by the time we were done with January, we had a pretty good stockpile of episodes, and then we just kept on, packing them on. So I think those were the things that felt the most novel, meaningful, and just like that I'm stoked that happened. What you got for January?
Couple things. One, just really appreciative that we dipped our toe in, and then by the time January rolled around, we started at the end of December 2024, and we just really had good confirmation that we were onto something cool with our dynamic and the vision that we had for this, and really starting to see that ramp up during January. So I was very appreciative of that. And then also too, in January, we had a really aggressive snowfall that lasted, we blanketed the town for like a week.
That's
and
right.
Something that was pretty special was what it transformed our neighborhood into, because we see our neighborhood, neighbors, things like that. We see the neighborhood as this lush green thing. And as far as you could see, you have good vision. But then when everything's blanketed under snow, it turns into this whole like Narnia-esque thing. And then walking around, seeing that change, our dogs lost their minds and just became little demons, and could not be, because my dog's a little husky. He's got like a third of a minute, and my other dog, my roommate's dog, is full blown husky. So they were just like, yes,
paradise, finally.
100%. So that was a huge one. Just, it was my first. It sounds weird, but generally in Nashville, anything snow related comes with just absolute annoyance and abhorrence. You're like, this sucks, because our town can't cope with it very well. Everything just grinds to a halt. However, just in my little pocket of East Nashville paradise, and how it all came to be, and how it didn't really interfere with my work-life balance, and almost just got to enjoy it as like a winter wonderland with the dogs. It was great.
Yeah. The other funny thing that happens that I've honestly only ever seen in Nashville is all of the fucking milk, bread, and eggs vanish.
For sure.
Everyone is like, French toast, fucking, we're not going to live this storm if we don't French toast. And I'm like, why are those are your staple? Like, milk goes bad quick. Eggs are not that long, like in bread.
For sure. You should be in the canned meat and soup and fruit section, you idiot.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah. So leave the water, but get the milk and the eggs.
Exactly. I mean, I do it too. So, with maple syrup.
If anyone's followed along, we have talked in length about what happened in February. So I think you should lead us into that. That was a big moment for us this year, or it still is this year, even though we're listening in 2026.
Yeah. I mean, man, that we took a trip to Japan, and God, the reminiscence and flavor and beauty that just like comes to my soul when I was looking through pictures, as I mentioned earlier, and just like thinking about it now. I mean, it's so cheesy and cliche to say, but truly like a life-changing trip and experience. For sure, highlight of the year, in all honesty. But even some parts of January and, months of the year prior, were the anticipation and excitement of that trip. And
our little powwows and our group calls, you, Mike, and I just scheming and watching our interest map on Google just expand like a virus.
With the little demon face.
Little demon face everywhere. Just everywhere.
Taking over, leaving our mark. But man, I mean, we did a coffee tour essentially through some of the biggest most traveled parts of Japan, and it was just remarkable. The experiences we had were so memorable and impossible to reproduce. I mean, our snow day, like
Yeah,
talking about
that
snow days, that just
for
was
sure
like,
the most idyllic thing ever. Not that the entire trip was not just absolutely amazing, but the snow related highlights, whether that be in Kyoto or Nagano,
yeah.
it was not. It's not what I expected. It's not even what I wanted, but it's what I needed
Yeah,
when we
it's
got
funny.
there.
I was like having, wet dreams about it coming up. Like I've always been like snowy Japan, snowy Japan, snowy Japan. And we just got so fortunate with the timing of it. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and it was the right amount that just blanketed everything,
yeah,
but was still fully navigatable, and
yeah,
it wasn't a hindrance at all. So
right.
it was like the perfect Goldilocks zone of seeing and being in a blizzard and then having it almost come as fast as it went.
Yeah. And then you're just left with the remnants of like perfection. But that's funny you mentioned that because that same storm had traveled north and hit Hokkaido, many, many hours later. And they had got 6 feet of snow in like 12
You couldn't
hours
see
or
the
so.
roofs of cars. It was crazy.
That was devastating. That's like
Yeah.
very like people are gonna die from that. And so we definitely hit the perfect like threshold of that. But man, yeah.
So February, shout out to 10 days in Japan being just a life altering experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Take us into number 3. What you got?
March. So 2 things come to mind. It's 3 things, and it's on the back of Japan. So coming into March, we were very much impressed and inspired by both the coffee and the cocktail scene. And into March, I was already a coffee nerd. That's why we did Japan. But being able to talk to baristas there and see those techniques and bring a bunch of beans back that were roasted there, that allowed me to get deeper into my nerdy little rabbit hole with coffee. And then also, too, having a budding interest in cocktail creation, which was at that point in March a very new venture. And I like to hyperfixate on things, and I just rummaged the internet, and I went from having a couple bottles at the house, same with my roommate, to quickly having a complete bar of 50 plus bottles of spirits, and just getting into that creation and mixing that with coffee and doing coffee cocktails as well. And that was a really cool moment. That, as well as March, I believe, was when you and I first started doing, which we need to revisit, by the way, but our just like hangout lifting videos in the gym, just being silly and dickheads.
And just capturing, those
raw
are a lot
essence.
of fun.
So that's what I was most appreciative in March, is new hobbies and interests and just new dynamic hangouts. What about you?
Yeah, it's funny you said the coffee thing. I have that as one of my 3 pieces. I feel like everything you said really captured what ended up pushing me into learning more and exploring different brewing methods, and just like taking my interest in brewing, the coffee production, all those things into like a different level, spending more on it, researching new things. So that's always fun.
Not to cut you off, and I just completely missed the mark on this, but I think we would be remiss if we did not mention that March was pivotal because we got to actually launch the podcast in March.
True. Yeah.
That was also huge.
It's funny with the timing. It sort of throws me off because that was the release of episode number 1, but it felt like we had been working on it because we had been for 3.5 months prior, and so that's definitely a big ticket item. Coming off of the Japan trip too, I felt more connected, appreciative, glad to just like embrace my love of Pokemon, and like the research that I started doing into like the card market and finding new cards and series and things that I just never knew existed, and starting to collect a little bit more like seriously was that was definitely a time where I started putting some good chunks into um, that side of my interests, which is really fun. And then I added to my tattoo collection. I got a nice platypus on my leg
Nice.
because why the fuck not? You know?
Why the fuck not? That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. Um, Number four, take us into
April.
the bloom.
So I feel like life, just the momentum of so many things, just left me distracted with my birthday. So April 9th is my birthday. And this was
Mm,
one that just came up. Most of the holidays of this year, I feel like I've been side questing and have crazy momentum in so many other places. But the root holidays just catch up so fast. Like, what am I? And people, hey, when's your birthday? Tomorrow. What are you doing for your birthday? Like, probably nothing.
yeah.
So April was pretty chill. I think it was like a momentum building month. But
Mm,
one cool thing, so kind of developing the cocktail front of March, we would start, my roommate and I kind of start focus grouping with our neighbors.
mm,
And they all love to imbibe. So we'd bring, say, two over, and I'm like, all right, I was working on this. So here you go, try this. And
hmm
they would all be like, oh, this is sick. And I was like, all right. And then we would build it up. We'd have like 4 to 6 people, and be like, all right, we're gonna make all these drinks for you guys. Tell us what you think. And they
mm,
were all enamored by that. So by April, when that rolled around, I think it was late April, if not early May, but I'm pretty sure it was April. We hosted our first like cocktail event for our
mm,
neighbors. And that was crazy. It was daunting, but it was truly remarkable for me personally because it allowed me to find resonance with being a host and being able to give back with friends.
mm.
Because I've been so transient my whole life. Music doesn't allow you to really place roots with people because
Yeah.
I was either deep in production and that's like 10 to 16-hour days, or I'd be touring for half the year. So I'm
hmm
never really setting up a way of exchanging with people other than music, but that's very, very trivial in comparison. So being able to have people that you care about and you be able to bring them in and make them things and share stories, it's a social construct of humanity. I mean,
hmm
having a drink and talking shop is millennia old.
Right.
And that's something I've arrived at very, very late in my years. But the most special part of that was being able to, I mean, just get our teeth kicked in because we had like 25 people, friends and neighbors here, and slinging drinks for like 4.5 hours. But it
Fuck.
was so special.
Mm,
And it was be just built on that later in the year to where we'd have 30, 40 people in the house for drinks. And
yeah.
yeah, being able to share that and give back and host people in that regard, it's crazy that it took me almost 40 years to feel that feeling and sensation, but that was really special for me.
Yeah. That's a very eloquent way to put that, but it's true. And lovely how I don't know, fascinating that experience can be, especially from that side, because and the parallel you draw to the your life in music and how it just really doesn't give you the space to do that in the same
Hmm.
way.
Right.
And it's a really cool experience. I would say um, I think I had bought a bike maybe a month and a half prior, but we didn't really start riding a bunch, at least between myself and my brother-in-law and my neighbor and a couple other guys. But April was for sure like bike time. Like I was like, and Japan, of course, everything's a fucking Japan infused. Um, has a massive bike culture, right? They're like
Hmm.
they use them all over. The cities are structured in a way that is meant for traveling with lots of different variety of bikes, and it's much more accommodating to that lifestyle. But it's really cool to tap into some of that side of the culture. It sort of brings up like roots of skateboarding, snowboarding, like the more extreme sport things that I've done and like have been a part of and identify with, um, in like a little bit more of a like dad way that's still like fun.
Hmm.
And so that was a cool thing that I'm appreciative of being able to, you know, sink my teeth into a little bit more.
Hell yeah.
Um, May.
May. May was cool. May was had some interesting development and almost bucket list moments. One in particular. So the owner of our gym, he treated several of us to pit tickets to Metallica.
Mm,
And I had never seen them before. I mean, they are a titan of music,
hmm
metal specifically. They were influential in my early years of guitar playing, so I'd yet to ever see them. But seeing them and Pantera up close,
mm,
that was very, very cool. That definitely punctuated the beginning of May in a really, really cool way. And the second thing was more of a kind of dipping my toe in first, and it was not on my bingo card. I've kind of worn that phrase out this year. However, I had crossed paths with a now good friend of mine, but his name is Gabriel. He works at First Form, supplement company I've had a lot of respect for. And he came to the gym like a year or two ago. We kept in contact, really cool dude. And then when I started ramping up my internet presence a bit, he's like, "Hey, have you ever thought about doing brand work?" And I was like, "Actually, not really. But if there was ever going to be a brand, I mean, First Form being a very short list of ones that entertained." And he's like,
mm,
"Do you want to just try it?" And that was kind of daunting for me, imposter syndrome through the roof. I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I mean, I love the stuff. I mean, that makes it very
hmm
easy to endorse and get behind. But as a person, do I believe myself in what I say? That's the difference.
mm.
So we started that way, and that eventually would culminate in other things down the road for the year of other highlights. But that was the first toe dipping, if you will, of something that would then snowball to be very cool later in the year. So
Mm.
important to note. What
Yeah,
about
for
you?
sure. This is where the next few months start to become a little bit more, I guess, mundane, and so which is never really a bad thing. I was talking to a buddy the other day, and just talking about different, like, life updates. It had been a minute since we really got to speaking on the phone, and um, I was reminded that sometimes like no news is really great news. Like a lot of times just natural human inclination is to share the like catastrophes, right? Like, my dad is sick, my this, my whatever, like what's shitty that's going on. And so
Sure.
I don't really have any of those. And so as I'm looking back, I'm just appreciative of that. But the things that were, key that I actually somehow completely forgot about, which is hilarious to me, and sort of highlights how much I was bopping around throughout the year as I was looking back through this list. I was in New York. Why? I don't entirely remember, but I do know that I did get tattooed and started my my stomach adventures, and so that was definitely an experience. Having two or three tattoos so far, I think branching out into the belly zone was like, all right, I'm stepping into a new tier of
Mind
coverage.
you, for anyone who is listening that don't know Ronnie or have spent a good amount of time in his physical presence, he's talking like he's like, "Oh, we're just getting around to these tattoos," but the man is like 80% covered. So don't let him sway you to think this is some new venture.
A little casual scribble with a bird flying out of
Mm,
it. Yeah. Um, so yeah, that was a big deal. That was the first time I used any kind of numbing agent, because I was actually like, I wasn't concerned. I know what it feels like, and I know that it fucking sucks ass to have your tummy tangled with a needle for hours and hours. And so I was like, let me buy, however much time off I can from this. And I got a good hour and plus of just, it is a very weird sensation. A, for it to be in your stomach. And I don't even know how to describe the numbness, because you have to have known what it feels like to get tattooed without it. And then not having it feels like the biggest mind fuck ever. Like, I was like, he's not tattooing me. There's no chance. And so it was an interesting experience.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
about June? Take us on.
June, I was back in New York again. I don't remember why, except that I did add another tattoo, and then I branched into my stomach and rib cage side a little bit more. And so um I really don't recall what the other piece of the trip was about, but there must have been something. So yeah, that's same, pretty much fucking mirror image. What was your June?
So June had a very interesting highlight for me. So this had been talked about many months before with a buddy of mine named Austin Evans, guitar player of Orthodox. The man's very busy with that
Mm,
endeavor. They've had a very stratospheric rise over the last 2, 3 years. So it's been very cool to see that happen. And he had mentioned that he'd always wanted to do like a side project where he would do vocals instead of playing guitar.
mm,
And he had organized several of us together, but just the timing never really made sense, especially because of how active Orthodox was. But he invited me to play guitar in a project that he was putting together. And that's when June ultimately made the most sense. So we played a really cool show. It was a free show put on by Orthodox, co-sponsored by Bad Luck Burger, which is a
mm,
restaurant slash food truck burger operation in Nashville, which is awesome. But
mm-hmm,
it was for free outside, packed. So for our first debut show and my first show back in years playing live, it
mm,
was very cool. It was special. Had a lot of friends come out, clients even from the gym, which was
mm-hmm.
interesting to hear their feedback because generally I'm a more even keeled, borderline stoic person. And then I do like to cut loose when I play live. So
It was
they would
interesting to watch that.
comments and even you're like, that's not what
Who the
we're
fuck
used
is
to.
that? Yeah, I was
Right.
like,
So
who the
it was a
fuck?
nice
Yeah,
outlet and a nice return to form when it came to music, which again was so prevalent in previous years, but was dormant for a while. So revisiting
yeah,
that was pretty cool.
yeah. A lot of like rehatchings,
Mm-hmm.
which is really a fun theme. What you got? July.
July, couple things. So main one is it's very cliche, but we have a really awesome close knit tribe at the gym with VIPs, friends of the gym, inner circle employees, what have you, our owner, manager. So our gym is quite tall for not being like an office building. So there's a way to get up on the roof. So we all spent 4th of July together, barbecuing, hanging out. And then at the evening hour, we would all get up on the roof of our gym and watch
Mm,
toward downtown where the fireworks were.
mm-hmm.
Just very wholesome. It's it's seemingly insignificant, but it's just special when you're just hanging out with people, just
Yeah,
enjoying a holiday together and no one's talking. You're just hanging out. You're just watching, taking it in, and it's
yeah,
just very wholesome.
yeah.
And then the other thing for July is we had our first guest, Mr. Jason Colley,
That's right.
the thickest to our long and thick little operation. The man is an just
Mm-hmm.
absolute mountain of a human being. So shout out Jason Colley because that was cool to be able to pivot what we do a little bit on the podcast,
Yeah,
cemented that we want to keep having guests. And then I think the moving forward into now 2026 is really getting a way to have guests in person with
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Because I think that would be a really cool step forward and a better energy shift and dynamic ultimately.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was cool to have kicked that off. And it ended up snowballing into quite a bit of things, which we'll talk about. But I would say one thing to add too, as again, if people are doing this as they're listening or want to, sort of circle back and do this exercise, little like note of encouragement that you don't need to look for these like fucking first place medal, life changing, extreme experiences. And I'm glad you shared the memory of just like hanging out on the roof because while that may just be like, oh, that was like the highlight of your month, like, and someone can scoff at that, like, that you can't invalidate somebody else's hierarchy of important moments. And as you look back at your own year, for those listening, like, don't let yourself fall into the trap of Instagram influencer culture, like needing everything to be this like perfect curated explosion moment that's like so wonderful and fabulous and everyone's going to be impressed with, because it's really not about that. So um I had a really cool memory that I didn't really forget about, but I missed the timeline of. And it was a picture that a patient had sent me of their teeth. And why that's important is because it really cemented a lot of what I've been working on with my like PRI focused endeavors and how I treat people. And I had this hunch that they had reached out with in like pretty much like emergency red alert pain, which I'm flattered that they thought of me even anywhere on that spectrum. But also it ended up working out really well because the things that I was thinking I was aware of and thought that I had like a medium understanding of, I got proof in my encounter that I was like on the money and really like stepping into, you know, new territory and leveling up, which is something I take very seriously. And so that was a big, I wrote it as a big PRI aha, which is just like, I'm going to keep having those. But this was one that felt like a pretty big monumental, like, okay, I am leveling up. And so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a huge thing to point out because you'd have to be outright deluded as a practitioner to not have those internal frictions of, am I really doing the right thing? Am I really as good as I'd like to believe I am at what I do? And not constantly check in with yourself on a regular basis to kind of not only keep you humble, but keep you hungry and make sure that your practice and your direction and trajectory is for the greatest good of your patients or clients or what have you. So that is cool though, to, you know, be able to talk to a mentor and collaborate and be like, hey, am I on the right path? And it's like, yes, you're exactly where you need to be. And like, you know, achievement unlocked.
Yes, my little fucking 360 logo. That's a good sound. That's a good SMS sound.
It's right.
Moving on. What you got? Ocho.
August was probably one of those more like you consider like mundane months. However, August is where a couple subliminal habits that I started to put in motion really started to pay good dividends. That being writing more, journaling more, gratitude work, meditation. That was when those moments really started to flourish and I felt the effects of it, which is juxtaposed, unfortunately, because when life got crazy toward the end of the year, I didn't mean to abandon those habits, but they did become far more infrequent, which I am aggressively trying to re-wrangle because it really was transformative in terms of what it can do for your life and your habits and your well-being. So August was a great jump off point for those because it started really snowballing, as well as at that point having my own confirmation from my efforts in First Form. They're like, yeah, like you're doing exactly what you need to do. Keep doing this, getting a good amount of traction that way. We did a fun little, so I'm always going to shout out Zach Charizio. He helped us start this podcast, jump off with that, did promotional material. He helped me do like a promo shoot for a product for First Form that came out really, really cool. And so that was fun for August overall. While there was no crazy tentpole moments that I can really put a memory on. It was just a lot of things were really starting to snowball and get good momentum behind them. So I think that's a good enough of a comment for August. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think that's great. August is where things started to get actually pretty crazy in terms of life. I bought 2 guitars. I got a fucking sick Martin.
Dude, that shell pink.
And that shell pink
crazy
Japanese Strat. We did our annual boys trip up in upstate New York, which was wonderful, but too short. After coming back from New York, I was home for 3 days, flew to Nebraska to go to the PRI headquarters, which was really, really awesome, and a really awesome experience. Except for one thing, which if you know, you know, and part of that travel endeavor. And then right after that, I flew again for a wedding up in Boston, which was really, really lovely. And then had into bleeding into September, just some time where my partner and I went to Rhode Island and just had some really like beautiful, quintessential New England beginning of fall vibe like experiences, which was really, really lovely. But it was a crazy month. I flew more in that month, counting like the connections. I think I took like 8 flights, which I just have never done in my life because there's never been
Sure.
a need for that. And so it was a lot. It zapped me pretty good. But
Yeah. And then it would still continue throughout the rest of the year too. Unfortunately, good, bad, and otherwise. I mean, you traveled like an absolute motherfucker.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's been a flying year, which is really cool. And it also makes me really appreciative of how much flexibility I've been able to have with my career at the clinic, and still be able to like do all these things. And so just feel really grateful for that, because a lot of people don't have that choice or opportunity. And it's,
For sure.
I have the money, I have the means, like the agreements, all those types of things. And so, yeah, looking back at that, it's just is like, okay, that's pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Number 9, hit us.
Septiembre. That was a big one for me. So 3 things actually. There's a parable in this, and I don't know if this is necessarily the episode to talk about what eventually this different type of momentum would lead to. So we'll probably have to put a pin in that one. However, so September was a huge month. So getting the confirmation from my new endeavor with First Form and then becoming a sponsored athlete through them. That was a great one. That was a cool validation. It's, again, not what I thought I would be working toward earlier in the year, but them as a company, as a culture, the people and other athletes and trainers and coaches that I met through them, it was very, very cool. So it's like, you know what, actually, this is right where I need to be. This is neat, and I put in a lot of work, and I got what I wanted, and I manifested it. So that was sick. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a small feat, but a big one internally. Beyond that, I hit my all-time PR of 600 on conventional raw deadlift,
Yeah, baby.
which I didn't think that was ever going to be possible. And then at the middle to the end of the month, my roommate, his lady, and I, we did a Europe trip to Spain, Madeira, and mainland Portugal. And that was just also a crazy experience. And I don't know how to rate. They're amazing for different reasons. I don't know how to compare like that trip to the Japan trip necessarily. But yeah, that was very, very special. And yeah, that was no other way to put it. Being able to, one, have this new accolade that I never thought was going to be a thing in my life, hit a lifetime record on a lift, and have an international trip that was just bonkers. So September was a pretty huge month.
Something as a observer in your life and close person to add, I think, to both your February and September time that I think is worth noting is the resurgence of your film exploring. And so I think just in some of the things that you shared with your work, it's worth highlighting, whether you thought of it that way or not. I think some of the stuff you captured is pretty fucking awesome. So make that coffee book, you piece of shit.
I know. I need to. It's funny too. I was actually thinking about going to the lab on Friday, picking up more film. I have a bunch of negatives to pick up anyway from all my scans. So I want to start going through everything, maybe getting a print list set up, and then just doing it, because I love tangible things now more than ever, and that's just one piece. It's like there's so much potential material right there that I just need to get it, because I love other people's work. I love seeing my friends' drawings or their film stuff, and I have several colleagues that have all made film books, and I was like, this is the sickest freaking thing I've ever seen, and there's no reason why I can't do it.
Yeah, people will feel that way about your stuff. You may not ever, but I feel like that's the curse of the artist, and that's just
It is
like,
indeed.
yeah, I suck, but maybe someone else doesn't think I suck that much.
Are you in my head? Have you been listening?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Tell me about September, dog.
Yeah, I wrote that, we really started to get some good traction with the interviews as well, because we were navigating so much of the travel between you and I. I don't even fucking remember where else I went, but I know I went somewhere else. I guess it was because I was gone so much of August, and we knew that you were going to bounce, that we had this crazy slog time of like, we're starting to tap out of our inventory list of other recorded episodes we had worked on prior. And so
Sure.
Part of that too is like appreciation for all the guests that we were able to bring on up to that point, their contribution, their time, and also just like gold star for us, because like you said at the beginning, like we haven't missed a week, and given how much, we each have going on in our lives from day to day, month to month, like it's pretty fucking hard to do. And so like,
yeah,
we are New Year's Eve, right? Like making it happen. And so it's just sort of a testament of like, even if no one else is that stoked that the episode's out necessarily, I think the heart and core around that is the proof of, hey, we have some good things to share that we sort of live out, at least in some way, shape, or form. So I think that's
looking at the backlog, I mean, coming out of August through September, we had Bianca Vesco, we had Sav Hill, we had Cassandra Grippy, and we had a huge deviation, but one of the funnest episodes that we've ever done was our 20 questions episode, was also in September.
Yeah, I saw the thumbnails, and I was like, that's also pretty fucking fun. Too, yeah.
That was
good old Willie.
Our first of our real unhinged moments.
Yep, setting it free. October.
So coming off the high of travel, now being a sponsored athlete. So in the momentum that I was able to make in First Form, I was able to have an all expenses trip paid to their headquarters for what they have as Fall Fest, which is a athlete and employee appreciation weekend, and it was just one of the coolest experiences I've ever had, especially around my new life path of fitness and all things included in that. So it was just, they treated us like absolute golds and then some, and it was just nice to be with coaches that develop athletes and endorsers, but also other people that have been affiliated with the program for 1 year, 5 years, 10 years since the inception. Yeah. And just be able to share that high and that love for the game, and all get to work out together, and see also the community that they've built publicly too, because we did a benefit workout with the public, which was really cool. So that was a main thing. And then another thing that happened in October, this was maybe toward the end of September into October. The timeline's a little hazy in my behalf, but that is when my owner of the gym and I started really compiling notes and ideas of what would be our first community event at the gym, which would ultimately lead to the strength show. So October, after coming back from St. Louis at First Form, was just an absolute grind month, because so many things had to culminate for this event, for how we envisioned it to happen. So it was a lot. I didn't do much else besides just live at home, talk to people that I needed to help organize this thing and just train people. But that month was an absolute blur. I can't even recall much else that happened.
Well, yeah, and the fucking album creation and all those things, right? So there's definitely a longer list than just living at home and training. But
what about you?
Yeah, October was cool. I was excited and eagerly awaiting what we'll dive into as our shared November, I'm sure. Um, but I turned 32. Yeah, Jesus Christ. I fucking had to count
On
that out for
the
a second.
Ween of Hollows.
On the hollows of Weens. I had a lovely birthday, which was great. I know that's the end of the month. And did a really fun waterfall hike earlier in the month. It was just a good fall month. It was pretty like, I don't know, baseline crazy, we'll call it, of just like lots of work things. And this is so funny and stupid, but not that long prior, I had discovered a dog on Instagram called Tilly the Bean. And I have been just fucking enamored with this dog. I mean, like the other day, I saw the owner share on the account, Tilly had an ear infection, and I went over to Mary's. Like, this was probably a month ago at this point, and the first thing I'm like, she's like, "Hey, what's going on?" The first words out of my mouth were, "Tilly has an ear infection." Just like, I have this like weird obsession with this fucking dog. I bought stickers of it, like, and
Hey,
so
you like what you like.
you know what? If anything else, I fucking love Pokemon. I'm blooming into more and more of myself as the years go on, and so appreciative.
Coffee, Pokemon, Tilly.
Not
Not necessarily in that order.
It fucking changes every day, but yeah, you nailed it. So yeah,
That's awesome.
November is the strength show.
Yeah,
Huge.
November was, again, on the bingo card, if you would have told me that I would organize a community event that did what it did, it was crazy. So long. The short of it is that our owner, Adam Wright, and I envisioned a 3-part event of kind of a seminar of multiple speakers on a panel, a strength and physical showcase game challenge moment, as well as having live music in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I'm always going to shout out Zach Terzio for his monumental work in organizing the sound, the audio, the video, the whole thing of allowing us to not only have that happen effectively in the gym, both on a documenting everything that happened front, but also having a well-polished live sound in a very suboptimal space, as well as also allowing us to do a live podcast in the middle of the gym, which was cool.
Yeah. I'm going to start calling him Doc Ock because the man must have fucking extra arms.
He has to. Yeah.
So Zach, when you listen, I'm calling you Doc Ock from now on.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean that was for sure the biggest highlight. Really crazy. I think, a lot of the interviews we had done prior, and especially with Nashville local folks, like the sentiment of there not really being something that ended up evolving into what the strength show was kept getting brought up in some way, shape, or form. And there are things, there are events, but for those who work in this space, that the division and cultiness that follows, like if you're a CrossFitter or a boxer or a Pilates or soccer, like whatever your thing is, like that's your crew. And, a lot of our conversations were, how do we like fucking get over that a bit and like see all of our attributes and efforts as like a shared communal goal for just like the well-being of well-being. And I just it feels like the physical manifestation of that, coming to life. So
hell yeah, well put.
And here we are.
DCM
landed us into the month of Winter Wonderland. What you got?
First, point of note. So our neighborhood is very close knit, and our neighbors had organized a holiday party for us all. So I think for this particular one with the people in town, it was 24, 26 people. So we bought out a restaurant and just had a holiday party together. And it was even more fun because there's a theme on our block that every household for the most part has some sort of matching tracksuit that is patterned with some sort of tiger or toucan patterning.
Fucking wild.
Yeah. So we rented out the event space in a restaurant called Lyra here, which is a Middle Eastern restaurant. And you have to walk through the main dining room to get to the banquet area. So just 20 some odd people all looking Slavic as shit with matching tracksuits. The looks were priceless. So that
Wait,
was one.
what is the lore behind it either being toucan or tiger?
So whoever started, I want to say it was Jordan and Shannon, a couple or a married couple here on our street that started it. And they just happened to find a listing on Amazon that it was red, gold, and black, and it had tigers on it. And someone else was like, hey, what's that? And they sent them the link, and people started like cherry picking other patterns from that same listing on Amazon.
Gotcha.
But all of them seem to have either tigers and toucans on them. And so, yeah, there's just 8 different variants, maybe more, of tiger tracksuits that everyone wears together. So that was a big one. And another one, well, 2 things. One, just a special moment was we just had a really cool night on the roof, drinks, s'mores, fire, just hanging out. Mm-hmm. So that was a special one. And then just shout out to my dog being okay after needing emergency surgery after eating some unmentionables that belonged to my roommate's girlfriend. And they get cut open. And yeah, his recovery was, I mean, the surgeon and the vets, the surgeon and the vets are like, he'll be fine. Like, but seeing him drugged out of his mind and unable to really walk around and stay acute. And I was like, oh man, but he's back to normal now. So I'm very, that was having him like have like the zoomies a little bit. I was like, oh, relax. You're
thank God.
Break something in the cone. So yeah, those are the big highlights. Christmas is also great. Very wholesome. Yeah, it was. But yeah, those are the ones that stuck out the most to me is one, Redford being okay, but also our little holiday party and just the really chill moment on the roof, just having a fire, some s'mores and some drinks. And it was nice. What about you?
Yeah. Testament to your cocktail skills. I hadn't really had the chance prior, maybe except for one evening where it came out maybe middle of the year-ish, right?
Yeah, I think it was July. It might have also been July. I think that was our second bigger issue. Like either July or August was our second bigger event.
Yeah, so I remember popping out for that, and yeah, drinks were fucking rad. But, props to you because the shit fucking slapped my ass.
Thank you,
that
man.
was that Cinnamon Toast Crunch Wonderland was next level. So, glad you took that endeavor. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just really thankful for the Christmas season. I love snow, if that's not abundantly clear by now. And like cold winter weather, not the sun leaving, but can't have it all. And so I feel like I got to enjoy the like decorating. In a perfect world, I would have got a tree like a little bit earlier and whatever, but I did get a snowy Christmas in Boston, or Christmas Eve, and so had a really lovely celebration around Christmas Eve and Christmas, when typically it's a little bit more like low key. And growing up, I feel like I had really cool experiences that were very like familial, and then as shit got like worse through my life, that really died. And so it's cool to be able to like reappreciate a functioning version of that, because it's that hallmark shit that everyone scoffs at but wants in the back of their mind. And so,
of course,
especially at least in America. But and then just again circling back to like the true, we say this fucking 5 times now at this point, but like the true 1 year, like we are really within the same week of our first recording, that year ago. And so just grateful for that. And again the effort we've put in, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun and really
Hell yeah.
enjoyable. So
Likewise,
man.
my friend. Well,
That's
sick.
all I
That
got.
sounds like a pretty dope year.
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm excited for a equally cool, if not cooler, 2026.
Agreed. Yeah, man. So we hope the same for all of those who have tuned in. If you do end up, running through this exercise, love for you to share, some of your highlights. Send them to us, so we can share those things and get some feedback on, if you found it helpful or enjoyable to hear about those things and sort of get forced into being a little bit more positively reflective on your existence in this beautiful life of chaos and wonder.
Well put, my friend. And with that, I'll just say Happy New Year, happy 2026, and hope it's a prosperous and easy year for us all.
Right on. Until next time on The Long and Thick, Happy New Year, bitches.
Adios.
Bye.